Did you know that the Defense Commissary Agency has approximately 50,000 shopping carts in its 308 stores worldwide? If you think about it, that's 33 miles of carts placed end to end. If you stack them all the way up, they would raise about 7 times the height of Mount Everest, but not quite into outer space. This is just one of the few inventions that have come from our great state of Oklahoma. Good evening, my name is Evangelina Dunn, and according to Art Fry, the inventor of Post-it notes, inventing is about wading through the maze of patents, regulations, market research, investment, manufacturing, and selling, which takes a lot of hard work and courage. At the conclusion of my speech, the audience will know a brief history about Oklahomans and their inventions that help make our lives just a little bit easier. Today I'm going to intrigue your mind with the inventions that came from our great state: the shopping cart, the parking meter, and the yield sign. Luckily for us, we have American journalist Carlton McGee to thank for the wonderful invention of the parking meter. The idea of having no parking restrictions would be a dream come true. But according to the National Geographic, in the 1930s, parking was a very big problem in Oklahoma. The problem was that grocery store workers were arriving early in the morning, and they were leaving their cars parked in the street all day. This, in turn, prevented shoppers from parking and spending their money at the local grocery stores. So the solution. Carlton McGee, the owner of Dual Parking Meter Company, suggested his invention, the parking meter. The purpose was, of course, to control parking issues and as well raise revenue for the city. The world's first parking meter was installed in Oklahoma City on July 16, 1935. And astonishingly, the first fine was issued in August of that same year. McGee's invention was introduced in Australia in 1955, in Britain in 1956, and in London in 1958. Soon after the introduction of the parking meters, traffic wardens hit the streets. They hit the streets in New York and in London. Thanks to the Beatles' 1967 song, Lovely Rita, traffic wardens were now called meter maids. If you think about all the famous names in Oklahoma, does the name Sylvan Goldman ring a bell? Well, it should. Sylvan Goldman once said, "The customers had a tendency to shop when the baskets became too full or too heavy." Thus the invention of the shopping cart. Sylvan N. Goldman was the first to invent the shopping cart in 1937 in Oklahoma City. The purpose was to create a device whose concept was simple: to make shopping easier for the customers, and there in turn they will visit the store more frequently and buy more. The result was a metal frame. It held 2 wire baskets together and folded like a chair. Unfortunately, with everything there is a downfall. Customers did not want to use the carts. Men felt like they were weak, and women felt that they were unfashionable. So Goldman hired models of all ages, both sexes, to push the carts around the stores as if they were shopping. With the help of an attractive store greeter, people were using the carts. By the 1940s, shopping carts became a firm place in American life. Supermarkets were now redesigned to accommodate them at checkout counters and at aisles. Shopping carts have undergone many changes since they were first introduced, but the basic design hasn't changed too much in the last 50 years. Thanks to Sylvan Goldman, retailers that use the shopping carts see their sales booming, and customers are more at ease at shopping. According to a transportation study, 100 people were asked if there was a good purpose for a yield sign. Astonishingly, 47% said yes, 45% said no, and 8% didn't even know what yield meant or even knew what the sign looked like. According to the Tulsa Police Department's history book, the triangular yield sign was created by a gentleman named Clinton Riggs. In 1939, he experimented with the concept for more than a decade, striving to create a sign that would not only control traffic at an intersection, but also would affix civil liability in a collision in which one driver failed to yield. The first yield right-of-way signs were installed on a test basis in 1950. They were installed at 1st Street and Columbia Avenue, the most dangerous intersection in Tulsa at the time. Within 6 months, the intersection had dropped to the 7th most dangerous, and other police departments beginning to take notice. The signs began appearing shortly throughout the country and eventually spread to foreign countries. The first signs, shaped like a keystone, were yellow with black lettering that said "Yield right of way." They have now evolved into triangle shapes and now just say "Yield." For a police department to operate efficiently, Clinton Riggs said it must have a good body of knowledge and a way to apply it practically in the field. One of the earliest signs is now standing in the Smithsonian Institution in Washington. Could you just imagine what it would be like if the shopping cart, the parking meter, and the yield sign were never invented? What would you carry your groceries in, or your children, or even your handbag? Without the yield sign, there would be more chaos on the streets than there already is. And the parking meter, which most of us don't see it as one of the greatest inventions of all time, is still something for Oklahomans to be proud of. The future will present us with both problems and huge opportunities. Luckily for us, there will be inventors that will come up with solutions to these problems. And when they do, the famous question that will arise in all of our minds is, why didn't I think of that?
6:20. Thought you said 3 minutes.